Hey guys, for math today, we're on lesson 115, which is renaming fractions. But before I get in that, I hope you've watched the video with some special instructions I have for you for this week. But if you haven't, do that. But just so you know, you are not having to do your full lessons this week. Oh my gosh, everybody's so excited! You're only having to do the lesson practice. I would like you, these are still really important concepts that I want you to know. I don't want you to miss out on them. So you still need to do the lesson practice to practice the concept, but you don't have to do the full independent work. So I'll give y'all a second to have a little excitement and some, do some dancing and jumping up and down and celebrating. But now we need to get into it. So open your books to page 725. As I said, this concept is renaming fractions. Remember that when we multiply a fraction by a fraction named for 1, the result is an equivalent fraction. For example, if we multiply 1/2 by 2/2, we get 2/4. The fractions 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent fractions because they have the same value. Sometimes we must choose a particular multiplier that is equal to 1. And that's when we're getting into our examples. Example 1 on page 726 says, find the equivalent fraction for 1/4 whose denominator is 12. So here's how I'm going to go ahead and write that. So we have 1/4 times something, which is going to equal a fraction with a denominator of 12. So I need to know, what do I need to put here? 4 times what? How am I going to get to 12? So how do I multiply 4 to get to 12? Well, you could think a division, 12 divided by 4. Or you could think 4 times what equals 12? Well, we all know that 4 times 3 equals 12. And since I have to multiply it by 1, because remember, if you multiply something by 1, you get the same thing, I have to put 3 up here, because 3/3 is 1. And I already have 4 times 3 is 12, so all I have to do is multiply the top. 1 times 3 is 3. So our equivalent fraction is 3/12. That's simple. So when you're doing it that way, when you're given the denominator like this, and you don't know what you need to multiply by, you just have to figure this out. You figure out what to multiply by. And you do that by saying 4 times what equals 12, or this number times what is going to equal this number. And then you just put that same number up here, okay? Example 2 says, complete the equivalent fraction. 2/3 is equal to how many 15ths? So it looks like this. That's how it looks in your book. Well, you could think, without writing it all out, you could do this. 3 times what equals 15? You're doing it the same way that you did up here. It's just a little shorter. And you can write it all out this way. But you can also just kind of do it in your head. 3 times what equals 15? Well, I know that 3 times 5 equals 15. So I just have to do the same thing up here. I have to multiply 2 times 5. I have to do what I did to the bottom. I remember a saying when I was a kid, when we were talking about fractions like this, it was whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So I multiplied the bottom by 5, I have to multiply the top by 5 as well. And I get 10. So I'm going to erase the question mark and write 10. So 2/3 is equal to 10/15. And that's it. It's a pretty simple concept. Again, just do your lesson practice right now. It's A through F on page 726. If you do it on a whiteboard, Please just take a picture of it and post it on Schoology. If you do it on a piece of paper, do the same thing. Take a picture, post it on Schoology, just so I can see that you are still doing your work. And maybe have someone come by and make sure you're doing it correctly, since that's all the practice you're getting. And of course, as always, let me know if you have any questions.